lovelies, Margo here, and today I got something special for all of you busy moms who are juggling a million things at the same time. I'll be sharing quick and effective tips that fit seamlessly into your busy schedule. Let's start off with a very realistic mom dilemma, and our number one biggest dilemma is time. We just don't have enough of it. How are we expected to rid our homes of clutter, to declutter, to keep a clean and tidy space when we literally have to cook, have to drop off the kids from school, pick them up, do their homework, do food shopping, cook meals? There's a lot going on, and typically decluttering takes a backseat. The solution is to prioritize. And no, I'm not going to tell you to dedicate 3 hours to decluttering every week. But you can set aside a realistic amount of time per week to declutter areas of your home. And it starts by making a plan. As you're gonna learn later on in this video, you do not have to invest a huge amount of time into decluttering in order to see results. It's really about strategically decluttering areas of your home that make your home appear cleaner, tidier, and well, less messy. Start off by investing 5 minutes in making a decluttering plan. And this is gonna be simply done. All you're gonna do is grab your cell phone or a piece of paper. You're gonna walk around your home and you're going to identify areas of clutter. Be as specific as you possibly can. Don't just say the kitchen, right? Is it the pantry? Is it the kitchen cabinet? Is it the refrigerator that maybe needs a little love? Maybe your freezer that has, we've all been there, mystery items still in there. Write down all the areas of clutter so you have a very clear agenda. That becomes your checklist. Once you're done doing that, on top of that list, circle and pencil in an amount of time. Be realistic. We are moms, we're busy, we're overwhelmed, and by the time we have, 15 to 20 minutes to spare, we probably would rather take that time out of exhaustion, sit in our favorite chair, this is mine behind me, and watch a little Netflix or listen to a podcast. The truth is that we can all find 10, 15, 30 minutes per week to invest in decluttering. We're just choosing to do other things that we deem more important. It really boils down to commitment. So if you are committed this season to rid your home of some of its clutter, I'm not saying all of its clutter, some of its clutter, then you gotta scratch out a little bit of time each week to declutter sections of your home. And the reason I encourage you to really be specific about areas of your space that have clutter is because if you only have 30 minutes per week and what you wrote down is kitchen, you are not tackling that kitchen in 30 minutes. Like, you're just not. I mean, even if you go atomic and ruthless and you speed declutter, 30 minutes probably is still not enough time. By the time you take everything out of the cabinets, that alone can take 15 minutes, right? Then to go through it and then put it back, chances are you've done a shelf. So be as realistic as you possibly can. I promise by doing it this way, by having a system, by having your own unique checklist, you are going to be making progress. There is no way not to make progress. And of course, most importantly, stick to your game plan. So if you've committed to decluttering once a week, then stick to the once a week. A great way to sort of ensure that you don't procrastinate is to set timers. If you have an Alexa, set a timer Thursday, 4 p.m. From 4 p.m. to 4:30, your timer goes off on your Alexa, on your cell phone, and you're like, time to roll up those sleeves and declutter, right? And just get it done. Consistency is king. Next, because as moms, we are rewarded by seeing progress. One of the mistakes that I see a lot of women make is that you are choosing an area of your home that's behind closed doors. What happens there is you don't actually see momentum, you don't see progress, and it feels like you're not really getting rid of clutter. Now, is it important to declutter a closet or underneath the kitchen sink? All of these areas are absolutely important. But if you're somebody that lacks momentum, lacks motivation, or maybe loses motivation because you're not seeing the results, it's best to start with high traffic areas because your high traffic areas include a lot of visual and surface clutter. So if you want that motivation, if you want to walk into a space and be proud of it, right? I have a lot of women in my Facebook group, they'll tackle as one of their first spaces, their kitchen countertops. Why are we tackling kitchen countertops? Because that gives you the most amount of results. Like, have you ever cleaned off your kitchen countertop and then you just find yourself venturing into your kitchen and like you're looking at the countertop and you're like, this looks so amazing. I love it. I love my kitchen. I love my home. The reason for that is because you can see the impact. While it's great to declutter a basement, it's great to declutter a garage, closets, etc., that motivation is just not there, especially if you're somebody who's just starting out and you have a lot of clutter. Focusing on high traffic areas will give you the biggest impact and the biggest wow moment. So that is my second tip for all of you busy moms. It's to prioritize that list that you have. It's to prioritize high traffic areas. And high traffic areas in our homes tend to be the entryway, the kitchen, the bathrooms, maybe the living room, maybe it's your office. I mean, our kids' rooms are notorious for constantly being cluttered and messy. So even if you kind of declutter and organize it, there's still going to be a certain amount of clutter and mess that's there. That's just the normal part of having kids, right? So it's not that you don't know how to organize. It's not, at times it's not because the kids have too much stuff. It's the nature of the game. They take all their stuff out. They want to play with it. It's kind of everywhere. It just feels like a tornado exploded in their room every single day. And that's totally fine. So focus on tackling clutter in your most used areas. I think this is my personal opinion. And of course, it's incredibly subjective. I am not here to tell you where to start. I do find that in my experience, tackling the entryway is a great first win. Decluttering your entryway is a smaller project that will not take you that much time. It is also one of the easier spaces to organize. You don't have to get crazy. You don't have to invest a ton of money. As long as you have some type of hooks or something for where the kids put their backpacks, as long as you have maybe a bin to collect all of the seasonal shoes. I also highly recommend some kind of mail and key caddy, right? So instead of having your keys and your mail sitting on your dining room table or on your kitchen countertop, having maybe a wall mount or something that kind of collects all of these things. It's also easier to not forget to grab your keys or your cell phone, right? But kind of keeping those necessities in your entryway. But entryways are number one, very rewarding. Number two, quick to declutter. Number three, simpler than some of the other areas in your home to organize. Another high traffic area, of course, is your kitchen. I'm going to be very, very transparent. If you are a beginner at decluttering, starting with your kitchen might seem like a huge undertaking. And things in the kitchen tend to be all interconnected. So a good example of this is you decide, I have 15 minutes this week to declutter. I'm going to declutter my kitchen countertop. But then what happens is you have your bullet or your toaster or your air fryer or other tchotchkes and stuff like that on your kitchen countertop, which you need, which you use. And you're like, okay, I can remove them from the kitchen countertop, but I need cabinet space. But because you haven't decluttered your kitchen cabinets, you don't have enough space to put the stuff that's currently visual clutter on your kitchen countertops. If you are going to tackle your kitchen, start with decluttering your cabinets and drawers first. Obviously, whatever's currently on your kitchen countertop that is a no-brainer that you do not need, that does not belong there, then feel free. Take 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and let it go. But if you're really looking to maximize space in your kitchen and have as little on your countertops as possible, you're gonna have to declutter your cabinets and drawers first in order to make space. So self-select those high traffic areas. I call them eye twitch areas. So the areas that make you cringe every single time you walk into it, self-select those areas and then subdivide them into sections. Be very realistic about the amount of time that you have to declutter. And if you have to go one drawer, one shelf, half a shelf at a time, then go for it. Little steps lead to big results, but you ladies gotta start. Which leads me into probably one of my favorite games. Yes, decluttering can be fun, and it's the 15-minute decluttering challenge. Because we're busy, because oftentimes we don't have more than 15 minutes, and my hope is that every single one of you can find 15 minutes at least a week to declutter. Maybe you can even find 15 minutes a day. I'm just saying, sometimes when you start decluttering, it becomes contagious, infectious, and you want to keep going until you can't go anymore. The 15-minute decluttering challenge, in all honesty, is a game changer. Game changer. A lot of times, one of the biggest myths about decluttering is it
takes too much time. It will take forever for me to declutter my home.
In theory, yes. If we have a lot of clutter, we tend to underestimate how long it will actually take. And sometimes it will take us 6 months. It will take us a year. It might take us 2 years to rid our home of as much clutter as we possibly can. But decluttering in sprints instead of marathons is also incredibly effective. And for those of us who have very, very busy schedules, we can't do a 3, 4, 5 hour marathon. So the 15-minute decluttering challenge, and by the way, I have an entire playlist where I do the 5-day decluttering challenge, where essentially you tackle a small section of your home every day for 5 days, and it doesn't take more than 15 minutes. If you're interested, I'll link the playlist over here. Decluttering just 15 minutes a day leads to significant impact. If you are committed to decluttering, if you are committed to achieving a clean, tidy, and organized home, because it does have so many benefits. If you can scratch out 15 minutes a day, you're going to make an incredible amount of progress. And I do not mean a minute over 15 minutes. Set a timer for 15 minutes and declutter. This can be done. You can wake up 15 minutes earlier than you normally do. You can go to bed 15 minutes later than you normally do. You can maybe eliminate watching, for example, Netflix, and instead declutter. You can actually pair watching Netflix while you declutter. In 15 minutes, you can declutter your hair products. In 15 minutes, you can declutter your nail polishes. In 15 minutes, you can declutter containers in your kitchen, or rather Tupperware. In 15 minutes, you can declutter your spices. In 15 minutes, you can declutter your freezer. You see where I'm going with this, right? A lot of times we look at the big picture, which is our home, which is filled with a ton of clutter. And we're like, this is an incredible undertaking. I don't have time for this. You don't have time for this in one sitting. But there's so many little things that you can do throughout the day. If you have kids, like my daughter grows out of stuff seasonally. I can't believe how fast she's growing. I mean, the kid literally grew 3 inches in the last 3 months. I'm like, what is going on? There are things currently in your closet, in your coat closet, such as coats, the gloves from last season's, the scarves, the hats. Take 15 minutes, pull it out, go through all of the items. Whatever your little ones have grown out of, whatever maybe is no longer in good condition, whatever your kiddos or you or your partner or your pets, right? Let's include our pets, have grown out of, or you don't need, or you're not going to use this season. Declutter it, donate it, give it away to friends and family. Oftentimes, whatever clothes my daughter grows out of, I have a niece that's 2 years younger. We will then, whatever's in great condition, we will then give to my niece. Take 15 minutes for a quick win. And once the winter season hits, guess what? All you have is what you need. Not only that, decluttering right now, especially for the upcoming winter months, decluttering right now will also show you what you need to buy. So if you're somebody that shops on Black Fridays, or I think Amazon's having Prime Days or whatever it is, right? Or sales, et cetera, you can have a list of exactly what you need. Instead of December hits, you go into the coat closet, you're looking for the kids' gloves only to find that they lost all of them last year, okay? Does this happen to anybody? This happens to me all the time. My daughter is known for notoriously losing a glove. Do the 15-minute decluttering challenge. If you need a little help, if you're like, I'm not sure where to start, again, I have a YouTube playlist, 5-day decluttering challenge, and you get those quick wins, you build that momentum, and then continue to go through your home section by section, room by room. A pro tip, avoid this mistake. And the mistake is starting an area and not finishing it. One of the biggest frustrations I hear from clients that I work with is that they are not seeing results. And when I ask them to walk me through what they're doing in their home as we're assessing and creating decluttering plans, what they will tell me is they started decluttering their bedroom closet, then they moved over to a drawer in the kitchen, then they moved over to their bathroom sink, then they moved over to their makeup, but they're not actually finishing any project. They're kind of just like, I happen to be here in this space, so I'm just gonna go with it. And that's totally fine. You don't necessarily have to have like an incredibly strategic plan of how you're going to be decluttering. That would be great if you do, but you really, success is measured by your ability to start and finish a task. So if you find yourself losing motivation, it is very possible that you're not actually finishing something from start to finish. So tunnel vision, you pick the drawer, you declutter that drawer from start to finish before moving on to something else. I'm not referring to any of you who have ADHD. I know that that comes with its own challenges, but let's see if we can, in small bursts, finish a project from start to finish. The next tip for all of you mamas is a fun one, and it is to declutter with your kids. I know that our kids can be resistant to like chores and decluttering because it's not so much fun. Building the habits of involving our kids in the decluttering process, obviously, you know, we're going to make it age appropriate, is a wonderful thing because they're the ones that are also going to help in the future to maintain a more clutter-free environment. So if we could teach them to maybe seasonally declutter their toys or seasonally, or to maybe declutter paperwork, it's going to save us a ton of time. So I have an 8-year-old daughter, and a few years ago, we started the 60-second decluttering game. So what that means is I would put 60 seconds on Alexa. I would turn a bunch of music on, right? We kind of set the mood, right? So the kids feel like it's an exciting game and turn it into a game. I would put 60 seconds on the clock and I would tell her that she needs to, within 60 seconds, before the timer goes off, she needs to find as many things as she possibly can that she no longer needs. So I would give her like a little basket and she would run around in her room, literally finding things that she does not need in 60 seconds. And what I found would happen is, number one, she had a lot of fun doing it. Number two, she's like, oh, mommy, give me another 60 seconds or another 60 seconds or another 60 seconds. Like, they get incredibly excited about this. And then what I found started to happen is that she would take the initiative as she got a little bit older to declutter. So my daughter has this like Barbie dollhouse, which constantly gets cluttered because she's playing with it and it has, you know, it has dolls and furniture and shoes and knickknacks, and sometimes she just randomly puts things, like if she doesn't know where to put something, it'll like go in the dollhouse. So it's like a cluttered mess. And a little while ago, I actually found her decluttering the dollhouse, and also, funny story, making a YouTube video. So because I'm a content creator and she sees me do it, so she actually took her iPad, put it up in her room, and started creating a YouTube video where she is teaching other kids the importance of decluttering her dollhouse. And I had such a mommy moment of like pride. Like, it was the cutest thing. Moving forward, she now consistently on her own will declutter her dollhouse. Another thing to do with your kids is, our kids are in school, they have a ton of paperwork. So what I have for my daughter is I have a designated bin. I have tried other organizational like methods and it doesn't work. What seems to work for her is to have one designated bin and she just dumps all of like her paperwork, her artwork that she doesn't need in there. And our rule of thumb is, once that bin gets full, we sit down together and we declutter it. So typically we do this maybe once a month. Come up with creative ways to involve your kids in the process, and it becomes also contagious, and then they're more likely to do it more frequently and eventually do it on their own. You can always offer them, you know, ice cream or like a slice of pizza at the end. If you're getting value from this video, contribute to my coffee addiction by smashing that like button. And let me know, what area of your home are you thinking of starting with first? Next, and this is the most incredible, time-saving, clutter-free home activity, and it is the 1 in, 1 out rule. The 1 in, 1 out rule is really like a cheater's guide to decluttering. And really what that means is, every time you go out and you buy a new item, so let's say you bought a coffee mug or you bought a sweater or you bought something, when you come home, you have to get rid of an existing item. This is not meant to really declutter at its extreme, but it's meant to maintain your clutter-free space. I would even go as far as saying 1 in, 2 out, or 1 in, 3 out, because one of the rules of decluttering, and there are not many rules, but more should leave your home than enter your home. 1 in, 1 out rule is super practical. I absolutely love it. You bring something home, you get rid of something else. That is it. It's that simple. Ooh, I just thought of something. Pro tip on how to declutter seamlessly, no time invested. You're gonna love this. How to declutter your closet. If you have space, take a bin, box bag, whatever you want, put it inside your closet. Every time you open your closet and you pick out an item that you're like, I'm never gonna wear this. Like, this doesn't look good on me. It doesn't fit. It's ugly. I'm never gonna wear this. What do we typically do? We take that item and we hang it back in our closet, right? And it just sits there and it's clutter. Instead of doing that, you take the item, you're not gonna wear it, you don't see a future for yourself and the item, you throw it in the bin. Keep doing that every time you encounter an item that you don't want and are not going to wear. Eventually that bin, box, or bag will get full and that becomes your decluttering bin. And you can just move forward and donate the items. How incredible is that? No time investment, nothing. It's just all about preparation. Let me know what you think of this hack. And finally, seasonal donation days. I am a huge promoter of decluttering seasonally. So a good example of this is the summer season just finished. Instead of taking all of your summer seasonal items, whether it's gardening gear, clothing, activities, maybe things that are broken that you didn't end up using, that floaty with a hole in it. Instead of just shoving it into a closet or your garage and having to deal with it next year, deal with it now. One of the best and seamless times to declutter is during the seasonal transitions. Assuming you live somewhere that has seasons. I live in New York. We have 4 seasons kind of. Anytime a season is coming to an end, instead of relying on next season to possibly go through items, tackle it now. The summer finished, get rid of bathing suits that you're not going to wear, other items of clothing, shoes, summer wardrobe that your kids grew out of, right? Or are borderline growing out of. Keep on top of your clutter seasonally. I promise you, the future you next summer, right? When you're getting ready and you're swapping out gear, next summer, you're going to be like, I am so happy that I took care of this last year. This is great to do with seasonal wardrobes. It is great to do with also seasonal decor. The holidays are coming up soon. So Christmas is not too far away. And oftentimes what happens is, like last year during the holidays, you found that like some of the seasonal decor was not in great condition or broke or your dog ate it. Some of the lights that were on the tree no longer work. And what did you do? Instead of getting rid of it, you put it back in the box, the holiday box. And now this year, you're going to start taking things out again. You're going to be like, oh crap, why didn't I throw this out before? And this doesn't work. And I should have bought lights and all of this stuff. Avoid the mayhem, right? The best time to declutter is when the items are already out. So if these items are out and about, tackle it now. It's going to save you a ton of time, right? Little by little, doing these things, seasonal decluttering. Lo and behold, eventually you achieve this subjective clutter-free home, because there's no such thing as fully clutter-free, right? Unless like you move out of your house, you kick your kids out, your pets out, your partners out. Like, you're always going to have a certain amount of clutter in your home. That's normal. It's called lived in. And then the last and final, just very quick tip I wanted to give is that you can also declutter in under 60 seconds throughout the day. These tasks are not going to feel like they're amounting to a lot, but you actually make progress. So a good example of this is you bring the mail into the house. Instead, paper clutter is a nightmare. Instead of taking the mail, the magazines, the promotional stuff that you don't need, and just leaving it there, tackle it right away. Whatever you don't need, recycle. Another example of this is if you are running out of a product, instead of putting the product back where it was and like, oh, I'm going to toss this later because I don't want to take the additional few seconds to walk to the garbage, get rid of it right away. When you encounter any other item and you're just like, I don't need this in my home, even if you're just walking by your bookshelf, and you notice, you're like, okay, this doesn't look good. I don't really need it. Don't have use for it. Don't like it. Instead of leaving it there, grab it and go recycle it or donate it. You can even have a donating bin somewhere in your home. Little 60-second tasks throughout the day where you like spot, I call it spot and declutter. So when you spot something, you don't need it, don't save it for later. Do it now. Little by little, yes, it's maybe 1 item a day, maybe 3 items a week, little by little, but you're going to start to see the clutter going down and progress being made. And most importantly, for all of my busy mamas out there, done is better than perfect. Forget perfection. Perfection does not exist in the world of chaos that we live in. Done is better than perfect. You're going to get better at decluttering over time. You're going to feel the urge to get rid of more items over time. Start, and done is better than perfect. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed my video, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss any of my weekly videos. As always, good luck on your decluttering journey and be good to yourselves.